You're listening to the Championship Wrestling Podcast. And here's your host, Dustin Starr.
And we are back. Welcome to the Championship Wrestling Podcast. And we've got a lot to catch up on as we are less than 1 week away from our first ever TV tapings in Memphis. Hello everybody, I am Dustin Starr, and thank you once again for joining me on this very happy Monday. The clock is ticking down. We're ticking down the days, the hours, the minutes, and even the seconds to Championship Wrestling from Memphis. And on today's podcast, I'll give you a quick peek behind the curtain at what to expect, everything from our setup to our testing protocol, even what to expect on game day, but absolutely no spoilers. You'll have to be there to see it or watch it on our premiere on February 27th. And I also want to tell you a funny story about my first time ever wrestling on television for Memphis Wrestling. That's fun stuff I'll discuss in here in just a bit. Plus, we will recap Saturday's Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. It was headlined by the very best women's division match that I've seen in quite a while. Thunder Rosa defended the NWA Women's World Championship against Priscilla Kelly. But first, be sure to follow at CW30 Wrestling on all social media channels, and you can keep up with me at Dustin Starr.
Memphis Wrestling is back! Come and see the stars of Championship Wrestling from Memphis on Sunday, March 7th at 2 p.m. Limited tickets are on sale now at ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com. Let's run it back with the Championship Wrestling Rewind.
Last week, the NWA 10 pounds of gold was on the line when Nick Aldis defended against Mike Bennett. And this week, we had the NWA Women's World Championship on the line. Thunder Rosa, who's been featured, of course, on AEW Dynamite, arguably the hottest women's wrestler right now in the game. She defended against Priscilla Kelly, a.k.a. Gigi Dolan, who is now signed with WWE NXT. Here's a few highlights from episode 97. Last week on Championship Wrestling.
Those ribs, might as well put some barbecue sauce on them. They've been cooked. Looking for that symbiote DDT though. Caught by Martinson. Martinson's got him up. In the launch position. What's Martinson doing? Oh my God, out to the ramp. My goodness. PHK is using his environment unbelievably. The ramp, the ropes, and now a brain buster on the ramp. Excuse me. Turn out the lights. The party's over. And the guys in the truck going to be busy because there would be a lot to look at in this thing. And there it is. He calls that the manifest destiny. That's how he put him away, Alyssa.
Carl Fredericks was absolutely incredible in this matchup, but Slice Boogie, we can't put past Slice Boogie for even just staying alive against Carl Fredericks.
And here you see the challenger, Priscilla Kelly. Get this, from out of the ring to the ring in her basement. She's got a ring in her basement where she's been training ever since, getting ready for this huge championship opportunity. La Mera Mera on her destruction tour, and it pulls in, makes a stop here in Thunder Studios for Primetime Live, and a championship match sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance. This though, the counter, you gotta be careful here, into a fireman's carry. Oh, look at this Death Valley driver by the champion. They continue to battle, and now saying it's the beginning of the end. Maybe Thunder Driver.
Oh no, but Priscilla Kelly, dumps Thunder Rosa back, goes for the cover to be the new NWA Women's Champion. No!
Just could barely stand, let alone dish out more punishment. Another knee by the champion. Now this time picks up the momentum, and immediately, Hell's favorite Harlot resurrects herself again. Oh, looking for it. There it is. Thunder Driver on the money, center of the ring, and finally puts her away.
All that and so much more on the fastest hour in pro wrestling. Watch in full at youtube.com/Championship Wrestling.
Look out! here's what's coming up for Championship Wrestling.
This week is a huge week for Memphis Wrestling. Not only do we have a loaded card this Saturday at noon featuring women's division action between Ruby Reyes and CC Chanel, but also the NWA National Championship will be on the line when the champion, Aaron Stevens, defends against Trevor Murdoch. And this one is an absolute classic. You do not want to miss it. And we're going to have so much more on that episode for you as well, counting down our days to the premiere of Championship Wrestling from Memphis. And also Saturday afternoon, after Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle, we're going to be setting up inside Top of the Line Banquet Hall in Memphis for our very first TV tapings. So we have a brand new wrestling ring, and I know you guys probably saw some of the little hidden Easter eggs on social media, but we recently painted the ring posts and the steps. Kind of reminds me of old school WWF wrestling. I love the blue. Just wait till you see it. Also, we're going to be setting up all the music that is brought to you by Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis. Of course, we partnered with them on Halloween Day for our drive-in spooktacular. We're going to be setting up the lights. Everything is going to take place on Saturday, and then on Sunday, it's showtime, folks. DeSoto Family Care Clinic is the official testing and healthcare choice of Memphis Wrestling. Testing protocol will be taken very, very seriously, as always with the United Wrestling Network. And a big thanks to DeSoto Family Care Clinic. You can check them out in South Haven off State Line Road. They will be testing each and every performer before they're allowed to even enter the building. And what you can expect on our first round of tapings, without any spoilers, you can expect an 8-man tournament to award our first ever Cobra Cup winner. I talked about it briefly last week. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more on Saturday's show. But the trophy is named after Memphis wrestling legend and the first ever African-American world champion in Memphis, King Cobra. And not only is this to honor the tradition and the heritage of Memphis wrestling and King Cobra, but he's also going to be on hand to award the trophy to its rightful winner. And also, what you can expect at our first round of television tapings, there will be a major emphasis on featuring the women's division.
Speaking of the women's division, here at the brand new Championship Wrestling from Memphis, women's wrestling is a very high priority.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a quick look at just a few of the women you'll see starting February 27th.
You've seen Cassandra Golden on AEW, WWE, and even Impact Wrestling. And now she's making her way to Memphis.
Amber Rodriguez is not only a great wrestler, but she's an entrepreneur, model, and even a military veteran.
Wow.
So look out for her.
And let's not forget about Nikki Lane, women's wrestling's best kept secret. And some say she's smoking hot. What? It was on her resume. It's actually on her resume.
All right. New money, Selena Dean looks to flaunt her money. She even sent a "You're welcome" letter, and that's a first.
Yeah. And of course, the queen of the Gulf Coast, Caitlin Black. She'll make you bow down.
That's just a quick peek of what the women's division has in store.
I guess I could have worded that just a little bit better. Always get myself in a little bit of trouble. Let's just say that you never know what might happen on the fastest hour in pro wrestling. But let's talk about the food real quick. Man, the wrestling action at our TV tapings next week is going to be awesome, but the food is going to be awesome as well. On hand at our first ever TV tapings, we will have Tops Barbecue. They have been in business in Memphis for over 52 years. The very best barbecue in Memphis, 16 locations now. Tops Barbecue will be on sale at Championship Wrestling from Memphis. And then also, speaking of local food from Memphis, Three Guys Pizza Pies will be available as well. And these dudes have pizza slices as big as my head. So the wrestling and the food are both going to be great, and it's going to be 100% Memphis. And also, we have a special guest that's going to be joining us on Sunday. We can't wait for you to meet our fun friends at tomorrow's TV taping. Paint Yourself Clean will be in the house, and they want to show you their kids' bath set that goes on just like paint. If your kids hate taking a boring old bath, Paint Yourself Clean is just for you. You can check them out right now at paintyourselfclean.com, and be sure to stop by their booth and say hello tomorrow at Top of the Line Banquet Hall. Hey fans, don't forget about tickets for March the 7th. Ringside are sold out. We only have a handful of general admission tickets remaining. They're only $10, and kids 10 and under are only $5. You can get your tickets at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. Also, the premiere, I have to remind you, the premiere of Championship Wrestling from Memphis is at high noon on CW30 Memphis and YouTube Premiere on February 27th. But that's not all that's going to premiere that day.
Brian Tramel and RynoJB join forces to bring you the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast. Rollin Into Mempho premieres February 27th on championshipwrestlingmemphis.com.
So I guess what I'm saying is you only have 2 more podcasts with me. Just a fair warning. And then the 27th, it's going to be Brian Tramel and RynoJB taking over the reins of the Championship Wrestling podcast in a new form called Rollin Into Mempho. And if the 27th wasn't already loaded enough, check this out.
Soar Championship Wrestling presents Remembering the Black Legends of Memphis Wrestling. Saturday night, February 27th at the Memphis Hilton. Come see Memphis legend King Cobra, Nate the Great Lawson, Dante Smiley, All That, Alan Steele, the Diamond Queen Evelyn Carter, plus we will pay tribute to these great legends. Sponsored by Brinson Tax Service, LLC. Remembering the Black Legends of Memphis Wrestling. Bell time 7:30, 939 Ridge Lake Boulevard in Memphis. Thanks for listening to the Championship Wrestling Podcast.
We've had a lot of fun building this thing, man. I've had a lot of fun talking about it with you every single week. And also, you can join me on our Facebook live streams at CW30 Wrestling or Dustin Starr on Facebook. There's a ton of great wrestling talk. You guys kind of dictate the conversation. There was even a suggestion for me to read mean tweets about me. I didn't know there were enough mean tweets about me, so if you see any mean tweets, go ahead and forward them to me at Dustin Starr. That could be a pretty funny bit. Fans, we're less than 1 week away from our first ever TV tapings. This time next week, I'll be planting little Easter eggs, but no spoilers. And it reminds me of the story that I teased in the beginning of this podcast. The very first time that I was ever scheduled to wrestle at Memphis Wrestling was at Power Pro Wrestling at Channel 5 Studio. And it was a dark match, which means it didn't even air on television. But still, they filmed it. There was a live studio audience. The commentators were calling the action. I know it was Dave Brown up there. Probably Corey Macklin and Dave Brown, to be honest with you. And I remember beforehand, for the first time ever, I was so nervous, I was going to throw up. And so I went to the studio bathroom in the locker room, and I stood and hovered over the toilet, just waiting. You know how your mouth waters? And I know this is a disgusting conversation, but it's kind of funny. I was so nervous I was going to throw up. And in comes referee William Gibson. Mind you, I'm like 17 years old. Looks over at me and says, "What's wrong, kid?" "Nothing." "You nervous?" "Nope." He said, "BS," and started laughing and walked out and told the whole locker room that the kid's in there. He's so nervous, he's going to throw up. And I think we had the fastest dark match in the history of wrestling because we were both so nervous when we went out there. But anyways, I digress. It's all we've got today on the Championship Wrestling Podcast. In a matter of a few short weeks, BT and RynoJB are going to take over the podcast with our new creation, Rollin Into Mempho. I can't wait to hear that. And I'll see you guys on Saturday at high noon for Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And until then, I am Dustin Starr. saying so long, everybody.
Tickets are on sale now for March 7th TV taping. ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com.
Memphis Wrestling is back, featuring Dustin and Maria Starr, women's division action, and more. Championship Wrestling from Memphis.